Classic Mode uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started with Classic Mode, you need to suspend your phone above your drawing surface. You can use something like a tall glass, a spray can, or better yet, one of our Vinci Eye phone stands. Links to these stands can be found in the app. If you're using a glass or a can, it's recommended to add a loop of painter's tape to the top and the bottom of the glass, so the phone stays in place when you touch it. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. Now it's time to position your image on the paper. Press the Move button, and with one finger you can move the image around. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and even rotate the image relative to your paper. When you are done positioning your image, make sure to unpress the Move button. This locks your image in place so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To adjust the transparency or opacity of the image, press the Opacity button. This brings up the opacity slider. You can move the slider to make the image more or less transparent. You can also switch the opacity on and off using the opacity toggle. Now let's check out some need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. If the camera seems blurry while you're drawing, go to Tools, then Camera, and then you'll be able to adjust the focus manually using the focus slider. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or blur. Next to filters is the breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it'll help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers project. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This allows you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the record button. From there, you can record time-lapse videos of your drawings, just like these. Make sure if you post your time-lapse on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. If you need help with anything, press the question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out FAQs, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast to questions and feedback. And that wraps it up for our Classic Mode Quick Setup tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting techniques using Vinci Eye. To get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in view of the camera, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper or larger. Then take a black pen or marker and add lots of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better the anchor will work. Also, the larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have an accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor. Then press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it's virtually projected on your paper. When you're finished, press Use Photo in the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your photo. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to just inside the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches wide. Take a ruler and measure your anchor's width. Then, type in the width and press Done. You should be brought back to the Anchor Manager screen. Here, you can press Done in the top left corner. Now your image should appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view of your camera. Do not try and hold the phone in your hand and draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall spray can, a tall glass, or a vase. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. Now it's time to position your image where you want it on the paper. Use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then, press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, or rotate the image. When you have the image exactly where you want it, press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion. Now, you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To make the image more or less transparent, you can press the Opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen. You can use the slider to make your image more or less transparent, or you can use the opacity toggle to turn the image on and off. Now let's check out some of the need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. Once you have the phone set up, you can turn off the phone's autofocus by going to Tools, then AR, then Fix Focus. This will also refocus the camera to your paper if the camera is blurry. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or add blur. Next to Filters is the Breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it's a great way to help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers tutorial. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This makes it easier to see where you've drawn already and where you still need to draw, as well as helping you see what areas need to be lighter or darker. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the Record button. From here, you can record time-lapse movies of your drawings without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure that if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. We love to see what people are creating with the app. If you need help with anything, press the question mark button in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos on how to use the app, check out our FAQs page, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. That wraps it up for the quick setup AR mode tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting tutorials using the app.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Vinci Eye App live with Charity Low, myself. I just want to go over a few things. If you don't have the app and you would like to try it for free, I have a promo code in the description for the iOS, so you can try it for free for a year. Just give me a second. Android is currently free with some of the features with ads. The reason for this is because it's new. They want people to use it, and the developer wants you to tell them what you like and stuff about the app so that they can make sure it's working properly for you. So it's a good time to try the app. Yeah. And then if you want to have your artwork displayed in the following video for the slideshow, just send me the image of your drawing, your name, and just send it to me through email and I will post it there. If you have a request for future videos like different mediums or different subjects, or if you have a certain photograph you would like me to draw from, just let me know. If it is a personal photo from you, I will also give you the finished product to you for free. I recommend joining the Facebook group. There I host yearly challenges and competitions for cash prizes and stuff, so that's another thing to think about. If you want to draw along with me, the reference photo is posted in the Facebook group in the featured posts, or my personal Facebook page, Charity Low's Art, in the featured posts, or you can find it on the app itself. I'll just quickly show you that. Well, I'll show you that when we get into the stuff. But you go to the left of the screen, and then you press search and then put Charity Low's Art and then go into my inspiration, which looks like a little light bulb, and just scroll down until you see it so you can draw along with me. Anyways, I think that is it for the beginning of this video, so I'm just going to quickly put some stuff up on the screen. So let me just go back here for a second. When you open up your app for the day, it will show this as your main page. It has the inspiration of the day, some previous inspirations, some videos on how to use the app, some featured artwork by many different artists. And to look for the reference photo, you see the three purple lines. You click on that, and then you go search profile, and then type in Charity Low's Art. Give me a second. And then you go into the little inspiration, little light bulb, and then you can scroll down until you see, just give me a second. It's loading. There's a lot of stuff that I post on here. I'm impatient, but just keep scrolling down until you see it, and then just press, like, for example, oh, I don't even know why that's on there. Okay, I put a picture in the wrong spot. So you find the picture. There we go. Now it's working. Just taking a while. So there's a lot. You press the little photo icon and then you go plus draw this. So you click on that and then we're using classic mode. So yeah, I'm not going to do that because I already have the reference photo set up. It's automatically saves in your projects when you're working on something. So you just press the little bookmark with subjects or projects, sorry. And then you scroll down to what you're working on and just click on it and then it just pops up again. So it automatically lines up, which is great for doing pieces that are taking more than one day. So I'm going to show you some features here. I'll just turn this around so you can see it. The AR mode uses an anchor to lock the image into place. So if you tilt your drawing surface or your phone, it will actually make up for that tilt so that when you're drawing it doesn't get warped. So that's super nice if it makes it more comfortable for you. And then tools that I like to use for a lot of my artwork. Strobe, which we're going to be using a lot of. So I turn up this opacity to the fullest, and then it just shows, just goes back between my drawing and the reference photo so I can make changes as I see them. So it's like playing Spot the Difference. It is a really cool feature that no other tracing app or no other tracing method has. So it's really useful. So we're going to turn that off. Grid is good for if you're using classic mode. A bunch of squares will pop up on the screen and you can square off the corners so that the picture is not warped at all. So great for classic mode when it's not locked into place and you're only using you're only drawing for the one day. So yeah. And I can't really show that to you on here, but that's fine. Then we got filters, which is really fun to use just to make things a little bit more interesting, just get you out of, get you into more of a creative mindset when you're working with filters, because there's a whole bunch of different things. I'm not going to really go through that. And then breakdown mode is one of my favorites for black and whites or colors. I usually have the cutout off, 5 steps. And then what this does is it gives you step-by-step stencils. So the first layer, you color in a very light color in where all the red is. Next step, it gets smaller areas, but they get darker. So I use a darker pencil or just do another layer of watercolor depending on what I'm using. And then it just goes on and on. But I am doing a colored drawing, so I'm not really going to use that very often. I just wanted to show you this feature. So I'm going to turn that off. Record is really fun to use too. What it does is it'll make a time-lapse video of your drawing. And you can also do this throughout many days. So if you're drawing for a little bit today and then you want to draw a little bit tomorrow, it will continue on the video. It won't restart unless if you tell it to restart. So this is really fun for posting on social media. And it really is cool to see how your drawings come to life as you watch the time lapse. But as much as I'd like to do that, I have too many things streaming and it gets mad at me. So, but that's just because I'm streaming to too many things with too many things at once. So, something you're not seeing in this video, this live video, is that I have my phone mirrored to my TV. So this makes it a lot easier to do larger pieces. I don't have to strain my neck if I want it to be parallel. Again, you don't have to do this. You could just have your phone tilted when you're using AR mode. It will work too. But I just prefer to have it flat, parallel, and then also on my TV just above my head. So if you're seeing me look up more often, that's why I'm looking at the app through the TV screen. Okay. So let's get going. They redid my little, they upgraded the app that I'm using for these live videos. And it's kind of bothering me a little. That should be good. So if anything strange happens during this live video, it's because of the new setup and everything. So, I'm going to go into strobe, turn that on, the opacity to its fullest so I can see the differences. And we're going to zoom right into where we left off before. Some tips for color picking. There's an app out there that you can upload any image you want and pick a pencil set that you have or create your own pencil set. And then you just press on the area you want to color, and then it'll tell you how many layers and what colors to use. It's not 100% accurate yet, but yet again, nothing is 100% accurate for how to choose colors. Another option is you make your own swatches with the pencil set you have. I would recommend going from dark to light, and then afterwards adding the number and the name of the color. This way you can see the whole range of colors that you have, including the shades. And then you can either pull up your reference image on a photo editing app or a drawing app, and then you just the color grabber thing that looks like a little I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it will show you that color in that area, and then you kind of match it with your set or with your swatches that you did. Or, as what I'm doing, you can print off the image onto a fairly large piece of paper. It doesn't have to be like photo paper or anything like that. This is just cardstock. And then you can just compare the colors to your picture. And just so you know, even if no matter what you use, every device is going to be a little bit different in color, and every printer is going to print off in a different color. So really, honestly, choosing colors is not as stressful as you think it might be. Like, as long as you're in the general area of the colors, like the general close enough, but not perfect, it's fine. You're fine, if that makes any sense. I'm just wondering why this isn't working. It should be. This is not working very well. Let's just try this again. So for some reason, the newer version of this app that I'm using for streaming is not working properly. But let's just work with it anyways. You guys can see my drawing and my app, so it's all good if it stays like this for the whole day. So yeah, we're gonna go into picking colors here. I'm looking for undertones at this point. I kind of see like a tan color. It looks like it might be the light tan color. I am not going to tell you exactly the name of the colors I'm using because everybody's going to have a different pencil set. So, yeah. So I'm going to do light pressure and circular motions right where I see that tan undertone. It's kind of in here too. So light pressure and circular motions. I'm holding the pencil closer to the end of the pencil, trying to use the side of it. This all helps with like a nice even pressure. I know there is texture in here, so you can do short strokes too, but I kind of really want to fill in as much of the background as possible, and we're slowly building it up. We're doing very light layers so that we have some room to adjust things if things aren't quite the right color. There's also a smidge of blue. I'm going to keep all the pencils that I'm using on the side here so I don't have to keep digging for what I'm looking for. Because the colors are going to be fairly the same throughout the entire drawing. So, yeah. So I'm using a light blue. Just light pressure and circular motions. So if you don't have a tan, like the color that I'm using, the colors that you want to use is a pink, yellow, and white for mixing. And you mix by doing layers of the colors, just layer on top of layer. And I'm going to darken it up a little bit with some gray. Again, light pressure and circular motions. Trying to use the side of the pencil. Can you guys hear me all right? Don't hesitate to ask questions during the live. I am here to help you out. So light pressure and circular motions, slowly building it up. There's a slight light brown in here too. So I'm going to add that as well in some areas. Sorry for the loud noise. It is really warm in this room and I need the window open. So, and I'm just off of the busiest road in my town. So. So light pressure and circular motions. And I see some of that brown in this dark stripe here. And we're going to turn off the strobe. Yeah, I wonder why this is not changing. Let me see. For some reason. So I'm turning off the strobe. And I'm going to, let's start with the brown. I'm going to decrease the the opacity until I just barely see the tip of my pencil. And then we're going to put on small little strokes of hair. Just small strokes, picking up every time you draw a piece of fur. So you just pick up, put down, and then just do little strokes at a time. Just very tiny ones. You can follow the pattern as close as you can to the cat, or you can kind of just use it as a guideline and be a little bit hectic with it if you'd like. It is totally up to you. I like to try to be as close to the reference as possible. But as an artist, you get to choose how you place down or how you put down stuff. I'm just going to tell you what I do, but you don't have to be as detailed. It really doesn't matter. Oh, bless me. I don't know why I said that. Is it working? Yes, I got it to work. It's switching around. I'm so happy about that. But I wonder if I can prevent it from going on my face for the close-up shot. Because you don't really need to see my face that close. I'm here to show you how to draw, not to look at my face. Okay, let me see. Can I do this? Oh, that's kind of cool. Just over me. I need to play around with that for once I'm done here so I can test out the new features that they have. Okay, so I'm just adding some gray over top of those areas that I put the brown. The different colors kind of help bring it to life. So just again, some individual strokes, picking up the pencil every time you put down a mark. No going zigzagging. We don't want to zigzag. Make sure your pencil's sharp. Make sure your pencil's sharp when you're working, especially when you're adding details. You want it to be nice and sharp. I'm going to add a few hairs in here that are a little darker too. Remember to pick up the pencil every time you make a little stroke. And then also follow the direction of the hair, even if you're not following the actual placement, as long as you're going in the direction of the hair growth. So for animals, for furry animals, like cats and dogs, the fur goes from their nose outward. And that is a really good thing to know, especially if you're trying to draw from a blurry picture, just trying to make it look better. Some artists have that gift of being able to take a very blurry picture and then turning it into make it look like it's high definition. It is really insane. And then I'm going to take that black pencil now. You can actually turn on the strobe again so I can see the differences between my reference and my drawing. Just remember to pick up the pencil every time you make a stroke, going in the direction of where the fur is growing. Okay, I feel like I need to darken up some of the sections of the face still underneath all that. So I'm going to go back to doing light pressure and circular motions. It will not get rid of those details of those fur marks. It will just put something underneath it. So light pressure and circular motions, just really trying to fill it in, getting it a little bit darker than what we had it at. I notice there's a little bit of a cream color of fur right here, so I'm going to add that. Cream color being like a yellow, a very pale yellow. I feel like it's somewhat in here too, so I'm going to add that on top of everything. Just light pressure and circular motions. Okay, just trying to see what I need to do. What do I need to do? A little bit of a lighter gray, kind of like a transition gray. So even more light-handed for the pressure, just kind of create that transition. And then I'm gonna go over it with a few strokes, tiny little strokes, to create that texture that I'm looking for. Okay, there are a few different methods to blending out, or at least smoothing out, pushing stuff into the paper. One is you can use a colorless pencil, or yeah, you can use a colorless pencil. This one is from Prismacolor. It works really well with Prismacolor, but it also works with Faber-Castell, which is the pencils I'm using. Let me just show you. So it's a colorless pencil. It helps push the pigment into it, keeping it vibrant. You can also use a white pencil for blending. It does make the colors a little bit more soft, not so vibrant, but it does help with blending really, really well, even better than using this for making a nice, smooth, blended surface. Or you can use the brightest color in that area, the brightest version of the color in the area to blend, so that it has that really nice blending effect, plus still keeps the vibrancy. You can use rubbing alcohol with a Q-tip. That kind of gives it more of like a marker look, or it kind of has like a teeny tiny bit of like a watercolor look. I usually use that kind of blending for like the background and stuff, especially if it's a blurry background. You can also get colorless blending markers, which is pretty much the exact same thing as using rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. But cleaning it's a little bit difficult, but yeah. Or do some research to figure out what solution you can use that's not rubbing alcohol for the pencils you have. And the reason why you want to do some research on it is because each pencils are made out of different materials. So like Prismacolor is a wax base. So a different solution will help break that down and help to blend it a bit better. Faber-Castell is an oil base, so it will probably use something different than the Prismacolor. So yeah, just do some research. So I'm going to use the colorless pencil, and I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to do zigzagging because you won't really be able to tell that I zigzagged with the colorless pencil. I'm just trying to soften up and also push in that pigment into the paper so we don't have any like white spots. Unless we want the white spots, and then that's a different story. But we're really trying to push that color into the paper and also soften it up a little bit. You might not be able to see much of a difference between that on screen, but I see it. And I think it is a really good, I think it looks really good this way. So really push in that pigment right into the paper. Trying to eliminate, we don't want to gouge the paper, so just firm pressure. We don't want to make any indents though. Using my horse hairbrush, or not hairbrush, my horse brush. Yeah, I said it out right the first time. Helps prevent, this is great for any medium. It just helps prevent getting finger marks or smudging anything, even with graphite. Okay, now let's work on the lower part of his cheek. Okay, looking at the reference compared to my swatches, looking at the undertones, again, I see like a skin tone underneath everything, so I'm going to add that just to the areas where I see it. Actually, I'm going to erase some of the lines here from tracing it earlier. Okay. So light pressure and circular motions, kind of holding the pencil at the tip so I can use the side of the pencil a little bit more. This all helps with filling it in nice and smoothly. Again, this technique, I just like to try to get in this technique, especially when I'm trying to do skin. So just practice it on the cat or animals and stuff. But when you're doing animals, you can just go back and forth with individual strokes if you'd like. But I like to get like a really nice foundation of color. And then I just practice my blending technique for other projects. Does that make any sense? Where else do I see that tan? I see it a little bit right here. So light pressure and circular motions. Right in here, I see it. Okay. So I'm looking back and forth between my printed reference to my drawing. So I'm not always focused on the app. Having more than one way to see an image really helps with getting that photorealistic look. So there's a little spot right here. I think we got that. Let's see what other undertones we can find. I see a blue undertone. So light pressure and circular motions just right where you see the color. Holding the pencil at the end using the side of the pencil. This helps with a nice smooth finish and also can help you with blending, which again is not really necessary for drawing animal fur, but it is a good habit to get into, so yeah. Okay, is there any other spots that I see that blue? Kind of see it right in here. Can you guys hear me all right? I know I asked that earlier. You guys aren't responding to me. And then I see a bit of brown, just very light brown. And this is mostly starting, like this is starting to do more of like the pattern is where I see this brown. It's not all over the place like I see the other colors. So we're gonna try to recreate the pattern with this, still with the soft pressure and circular motions. I'm gonna slowly build up to some more vibrant colors, just slowly so that there is room to change things if things need to be changed. If you put too much pigment down right away, you won't be able to add other layers on top of it. So that's why you want to do it nice and slow. We'll see how that works. Do we need to add that brown anywhere else? Maybe a little bit right here. And then also I see a very pale yellow in some of these areas as well. So I'm going to do light pressure, circular motions just right where I see that yellowish tone. Now I'm going to turn off the strobe temporarily, have it so that I can just barely see the tip of my pencil. So I'm going to turn down the opacity. I'm going to start off with brown and build it up. Just doing individual strokes, picking up the pencil every time I place down a stroke. Now you don't have to get every single piece of fur exactly the way it is in the reference photo. But if you get like the bigger sections, the more defined areas, then it'll be great. It'll help make it look like the animal you're trying to draw. You want to try to get the bigger patterns down pretty good, pretty accurately, because if you're doing a commission, they'll be like, yeah, that's definitely my dog. But if you kind of just do your own thing, just put patterns wherever you want it to be, they're going to be a little bit picky about that. But you don't have to, like, it's just for those little, like for those more defined patterns that you need to worry about. The little dark pieces of fur, you don't need to be so accurate with. Now I'm going to go over with some gray. I'm not putting a whole bunch of pressure down, just a little bit, but picking up the pencil every time I put down a stroke. No zigzagging. This is not the time to zigzag. And having the different layers of color really helps with the realistic dimension to it. And you'll start to see the whiskers that we indented from previous video. You can start seeing them pop up a bit. Okay, so I'm turning on the strobe again, and I'm turning up the opacity to its fullest. This way I can kind of see the differences between my drawing and the reference. So I can make changes as I need to. I'm now starting to use black, get those really dark areas. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it right now, again, but I'm doing firm. I'll say it's firm pressure. Okay, and we're still needing to add some more layers to this to make it more realistic. I'm gonna go look at what I need to do to make some certain areas darker, because it needs to be darker right in here a little bit. So what colors do I need to use? That is the question. No, I think I need to use the brown. Very light pressure. Just gonna bring up that color a little bit darker. One small stroke at a time, picking up the pencil every time. Again, do not zigzag. A lot of people zigzag because they're impatient, but it doesn't look good for hair or fur if you zigzag. So just slow down, take a breath, be patient with yourself. I'm just switching over from looking at my reference that's printed off to the phone, or my TV that has the phone stuff on it. This isn't moving again. Why isn't it moving? It's stuck. Why is it getting stuck? Let's do every minute. Turn that off and turn that back on again. I hope they fix the bugs that are in this. Okay, I'm gonna go over it with some gray, just picking up the pencil for every stroke, one little line at a time. And make sure you're following the direction of where the fur's going. That is a very important thing to think about. Okay, let's take a look, see if there's anything that needs to be added to it. I still need to make some sections a little bit darker from what I can see. Why is this not moving? Just make sure you pick up that pencil every time you put down a stroke. Do, 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 do. And I think this is pretty good. I think we're ready to kind of blend it. Soften it up more than really blending it. Just softening up the edges. Okay. Maybe I'll just add a little bit of gray over top of this, but I'm just doing circular motions because I kind of want to fill in most of that area with that gray. Just needs to be slightly darker than what we have already. And I feel like that stripe on the right across the eye, it looks like eyeliner that goes to forever. I think I need to bring that down a little bit too. So light pressure, circular motions, holding the pencil at the end so I can kind of use this side of it instead. And I'm really just trying to fill in the space. Oh, thank you so much for the hearts. I just barely saw that. I looked over just in time. So I'm just going to bring that dark section down a little bit. Maybe getting it even a little darker than I had it before, so that we can see that. So we can see that pattern, it's more defined. That way the person who had asked me to do this will be pleased to see that it actually looks like their cat. Okay. So now I'm going to use the colorless pencil. Again, there's many different methods to blending. One of my favorites is the colorless pencil. This is from Prismacolor. It keeps the colors vibrant and just softens things up. And then you can use a white colored pencil for blending as well, but it does make the colors a little bit softer. Or you can use the brightest color in that area that you're blending. It'll keep the colors nice and vibrant. You can use rubbing alcohol in a Q-tip. You can use a blending marker that's made for pencils. Or you can do some research to figure out what solution will work best for your pencils that you use, because different pencil sets are made out of different things. So do some research so that you can pick out the right solution, and then you use a really small brush and use a little bit at a time for some blending. But when you're using liquid for blending, it kind of has like a marker look or like a bit of a watercolor look to it. If that is something that you're wanting, that's great. If it's not, I don't recommend doing that. So just whatever you have. I'm pretty sure everybody has rubbing alcohol in their house right now, left over from having the lockdown and COVID and stuff. So that hand sanitizer is rubbing alcohol, and I just use that sometimes. So we are putting firm pressure on the page to kind of push in that color, trying to fill in those white spots. We don't want to gouge the paper, so we got to be very careful not to be too hard. That's how. Why is it not working? I'm talking about this camera. It just doesn't want to work. It's supposed to cycle through different cameras. Hello from India. Myself is from Canada, and the person who came up with this app is from the United States. I am just a big fan of the Vinci Eye App. Okay, we're gonna move on. We might, after we're done doing the entire cat, we might go over it, look at it as a whole, see what needs to be darker, so that it just looks better, but we're not gonna really focus too much on getting everything perfect. So let's look for the undertones. Is it available for Android? Yes, it is available for Android. Right now, it is currently free because they just did an update on it, and they want people to try it and then give them your honest opinion so that they can adjust things to make it better for you and for other people. So it's Vinci Eye App. And you can just download it. There are a few ads for some of the features, like strobe and breakdown, I think has ads. So just to be aware, but it's not gonna have that forever. And then you could also just pay for it full price, and it just gets rid of the ads for you. So anyways, yeah. Okay, there's something that's bugging me over here, and that is the fur right on the nose. So I'm going to kind of fix that. So, because it's too straight. The hair on the nose is too straight. So I'm going to fix that. I'm just adding a few individual strokes, picking up the pencil every time. I think that's a little bit better than what I had it. I think that looks better. Okay, now let's take a look at it, see what undertones we see. I see a lot of blue. So I'm gonna do light pressure and circular motions in the areas that I see that undertone. Holding the pencil at the tip, trying to use the side of the pencil rather than the tip. This helps with like a nice smooth texture, which honestly isn't necessary for doing pet portraits, but it is a good habit to get into when you're doing smooth textures like skin. So if you want to be able to transition from doing people portraits to pet portraits, really practice doing this method of circular motions and light pressure and just building it up slowly. And we're slowly building it up. This way we can fix any mistakes early if we notice anything. Change the color ever so slightly. I see a tan. I'm gonna add that just right where we see it. Again, slight pressure, circular motions. Trying to use the side of the pencil more than the tip. Holding the end of the pencil helps with like a consistent pressure. well, not like controls how soft you place down the pencil so that you can add more layers to it. And all these little different colors that we see in the undertone really helps make it look more realistic, like it's a photograph. I know we see mostly grays and whites and black, maybe a little bit of brown generally, but there are some slight variations with different colors throughout it. You just got to practice being able to see that to add it. Okay, what else do I see? Quite a bit of yellow too. Mostly around the eyes is where I see this very pale yellow. Okay, now it's time for a quick break. This is a good time to stretch your legs, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a glass of water, a snack, and we'll be back. The videos you're going to be shown is the Android version of the app on how to use the two different things, like the two main things, Classic and AR. So if you want to watch that, stick around. But yeah, okay. So let's go and take a quick break.
Vinci Eye uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see both the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started, you need to place your phone on top of a tall glass. If your phone doesn't have a case, it might slide around when you touch it. This makes adjusting settings while you're drawing very difficult. To fix this, cut a long piece of tape and fold it into a loop. Place the tape loop on top of your glass, and this will stop the phone from moving around. You can also place a tape loop on the bottom of your glass to stop the glass from moving around. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. The higher that your phone is positioned, the more of the canvas you'll be able to see and the larger the picture you will be able to draw. Tall aerosol spray cans work great, or you can use one of our Vinci Eye phone stands, which lets you easily adjust the height and position of your phone. Links to these stands can be found in the app. Now it's time to position the image on your paper. Press the move button, and using one finger you can pan the image. Using 2 fingers, you can zoom, shrink, and rotate the image. When the move button is unpressed, the camera will be locked together with the reference image. This lets you zoom out to see your drawing as a whole, or zoom in so you can draw fine details. To make your image more or less transparent, you can use the opacity slider. Move the slider to the left to make your picture more transparent, and to the right to make it less transparent. If you find that your pencil or paper is blurry as you're drawing, you can adjust the focus of your camera by pressing Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. To record a time lapse, like this one while you draw, press Tools, then scroll all the way to the right, press the Record option, and then press the Record On switch.
One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This strobes the image on and off so that you can compare color values and you can see places where you still need to draw. In addition to the multiple filters in the Filters tab, there is also the Breakdown feature in the Breakdown tab. This breaks down your image into layers by color value. For beginners, it turns your photos into a draw by numbers project. Or for advanced artists, it can help you analyze the structure and composition of what you are about to draw or paint. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right-hand corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out our frequently asked questions, and even email us. We usually respond to emails extremely fast, and we love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using our app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos of how to use all of the amazing features that are in Vinci Eye.
Get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place, so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in the camera's view, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card sized piece of paper or larger.
Then take a black marker and do your best Jackson Pollock impression. Make a lot of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better. The larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor in the top right corner of the screen. Press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this or like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it is projected onto your paper. When you're finished taking a picture, press the OK button at the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your anchor. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. Then, press Crop at the top right corner of the screen. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches or 8 centimeters wide. Now press Done. Now press Use Anchor. Your image should now appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view. Do not hold the phone in your hand and try to draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall glass, tape and a tall spray can. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. If your camera is not in focus, press Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. This will refocus the camera to your paper. Your image will appear in the center of your anchor. To position your image on your paper, use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and rotate your image. When you're done, make sure to press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. Now you can adjust the opacity. Press the opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen to make the image more or less transparent. To apply image filters, go to Tools, then Filters, and then press the Filters button. Filters can make your image easier to draw by helping you see different elements more clearly. You can also use the Breakdown tool by going to Tools, then Breakdown, and then Setup. This lets you break down your image into layers by color value. This is great for turning any image into a paint by numbers tutorial, or if you're an advanced artist, it can help you analyze the no-tan or structure and composition of your artwork. To use the strobe feature, go to Tools, then Strobe. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off, allowing you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. This is one of the most powerful tools in the entire app. To get to the last absolutely need to know feature, press Tools, then slide all the way to the right and press Record. Then turn the record switch on. This lets you record awesome time lapses of your artwork without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us at Vinci Eye for a repost. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can check out our frequently asked questions, watch instructional videos, and even email us. We usually respond extremely fast emails and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos how to use all the awesome features Vinci Eye has built in.
Hello. Why is the sound still going? This is weird. Why is the sound still going? I'm having some technical difficulties. Let's see if that does it again. Let me see. I'm gonna start up again, or was that just a glitch? Okay, hello, welcome back. So I'm gonna tell you quick about myself. I am not the app developer. I am just a super fan who asked for a job, and here I am. My job is to do live lessons and also to make ads and tutorials for their YouTube channel. So, and I also am available to do one-on-one video calls to help you get set up and started. So if that's something you're interested in. If you do not have the app and you would like to try the app for free for a year, there's a promo code for the iOS in the description. Android is currently free because they just dropped their new version and would like to have your input before they start charging you for it. So it's a good time to try it now. It does have some ads for some features. So try it, see if you like it, and if you know that you're going to be using it frequently, pay for it sooner than later, because when they do increase prices, which inevitably will happen, you will be grandfathered into the price that you originally agreed upon. And then join the Facebook group, Vinci Eye App's group. There I do challenges and competitions on a yearly basis for cash prizes. So that's something that's fun to do. You could also interact with other artists there and get a little bit of extra, extra support and other ideas on some other things that you might be struggling with. What else? If you want to draw along with me, the reference photo is in the Facebook group in the featured posts, or you can go to my personal Facebook page, which is charitylowsart. You could also find the reference in the features, or you can go to the main page of the app, click on the 3 purple lines, go into search Charity Lowe's Art, and it'll pop up my profile, which is a self-portrait of myself. And then you go into the light bulb icon and scroll down until you see the reference photo, and then you can just draw with me that way. And I think that's it. Is there anything that you guys need to know from me? Don't hesitate to comment in the comments. I am here for you. I am here, right today I'm going to be showing you how to use the app to its fullest to get photorealistic artwork. But as much as I love doing portraits of people and pets, it's not the only thing I can do. It is my specialty, but I've done watercolor, acrylics, stained glass painting, wood burning, fabric painting, soft pastels, markers, and I've done other subjects other than people and pets. So if there's anything you want me to do, if you want to challenge me in anything, say I can only use primary colors to do a photorealistic drawing, if you just want to study eyes or noses or whatever, anything that you want to learn about, just let me know and I can do that for you. And then also I am doing another thing where if you want a personal, if you want me to draw a personal photograph that you have of like family members or pets, just email me the reference and I will also give you the drawing for free, no charge whatsoever, shipping, everything is covered. What else? We do have a slideshow in these videos with artwork, and if you want to be featured in these in these slideshows for these lives, then also email me your name and the drawings that you want to be in the slideshow. And you can have as many many drawings as you want for that slideshow. I'll put whatever I can fit in there. So it'd be nice to see a wide variety of artists and their artwork, no matter the skill level. So yeah, I think that's it. We will get back to drawing. I'm wondering why the tech is not working very well for me. Okay, so why isn't this wanting to turn off? Let me just kind of go through these. That one. Okay, these, for some reason, the new version of this streaming thing that I'm using is not working properly. And it is driving me crazy. So I have to manually do everything. But whatever, it is what it is. So let's continue. We are going to be drawing until for an hour and 10 minutes more. So I'm going to grab that tan color. I'm going to do light pressure and circular motions in the general area that I see that undertone. I'm holding the pencil closer to the end. You can actually kind of see, like most of the time I hold it normally, but sometimes I hold it kind of from the top so I can have it closer, having it more to the side of the pencil than the tip. So sometimes you'll see me holding it in weird ways, but that's just what happens when you've been drawing for a while. You come up with new ways to get the certain effect that you're looking for. It's kind of an interesting way to hold a pencil. So light pressure and circular motions, you want to slowly build up. This gives you a little bit of time to fix things if there's anything that you've messed up on, because nobody's going to really tell too much right away for like the light layers. And then also the lighter the pressure, the more layers you can put on and the more detailed you can get. So like you start off with like really general shapes of like the undertones, and then you just get more and more into the texture until you get the top layer done, and then it looks really good. Let me see, what other colors do I see in this? There's a little bit of brown right in here. Light pressure and circular motions. Still holding the pencil at the end so I can have it use the side of the pencil instead of the tip, because I don't want to have, well, like, again, for pet portraits, it doesn't really matter if you have those pencil strokes poking through, because that just adds to the texture. If you are going to use the tip of the pencil, I kind of recommend going in the direction of the fur. But because of my habit of doing a lot of people portraits, I am just trying to do a nice, smooth texture underneath everything. And then we'll build up some gray, very light pressure, circular motions, holding the pencil closer to the end. This way we can use the side of the pencil, preventing from having pencil strokes. This technique is really good for blending because, as you know, colored pencils do not blend very well. Okay, where else can we add this? Right in here. When we're starting to get into the smaller sections, now we can kind of do more of individual lines. Right now I'm kind of doing like oval or sketchy strokes because it is still a very soft texture. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Can somebody teach me words? Okay, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn off the strobe. Turn it off, and then we're going to have it so we can just barely see the tip of the pencil. This way we can have a little bit more accuracy with the texture, the pattern of the hair. And I'm going to start off with brown first. So for this, every stroke that I make, I am picking it up because these are very fine details. They're a little bit more of sharper edges for this. And we're just going to get all those little dark areas that we can see. We don't have to have it exactly the same because nobody's going to really notice. The only thing that really matters for trying to get as accurate as possible are like the really big and obvious patterns of the fur, like the pattern that's on the forehead and the pattern that's next to the eyes, like that's the most important. That's the most important patterns. But these little teeny tiny furs that kind of pop up and they're almost like random, which they are random. You don't have to worry about getting it exact. Why is that going off now? Let's remove. How do I do this? Controls. Turn that off. How do I get rid of it? That's annoying. No, we're not doing tea time talk. We already passed that. Guys weren't talking to me. Well, no, I'm just kidding. This have been over a year since I've been doing this, but I do expect it to take quite a bit longer to build up some viewers. Hopefully I can build up some viewers, but I'm not holding my breath. So we're just kind of marking down the placement of things. We don't have to be perfect. Okay, now I think I might turn it back on to strobe. So turning on the strobe, turning up the opacity to its fullest. And then we can see the differences between the reference and our drawing. So we can make a few adjustments here and there to make it look as close to the photograph as possible for that photorealistic look. Again, I'm a little bit crazy. Tracing does not mean you have to be a photorealistic artist. It could be just the base to your own personal style, even if it's just like one line artwork. If you know what that is, it's really cool for like doing pet portraits or like little love charms with somebody's a couple who are kissing or something. It's really cute style. But yeah, you do not have to be photorealistic to if you trace. If you're new to using colored pencils, I recommend not buying anything expensive right away. Like you can use something as simple as Crayola pencils for just starting out with colored portraits. You can do some really nice drawings with them once you build up your skill. But once you get to the point where you're comfortable with color and you want to do it more of a professional level, then invest in a more expensive and high quality pencil. Well, not expensive. High quality pencils don't necessarily mean expensive, but a higher quality pencil set. And then also just remember that, why is this doing this? Oh, this is driving me crazy. I'm gonna have to do controls. No. Nothing. I don't want it now. Come on, get rid of this. Fine. I'll remove you from my playlist.
Classic mode uses
Now it's
your
going
phone's
into something else. It's glitching a lot because they updated it and they didn't get rid of the bugs before they updated it, and it's driving me crazy. I'm going to give them 3 months to fix their issues. If not, I'm switching to something else for a streaming platform. We're just slowly building it up. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on it. Just slowly. You know, I'm gonna be right back. Just give me a second. Because I think I hear a door open. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Just slowly building it up. We're also building up the shading of the fur too, not just the color. Slowly building up how dark it needs to be. So small strokes, picking up the pencil every time you make a stroke. We're not zigzagging here. Zigzagging does not look good at all. And then we're gonna go in with the black. I need to make this little section right here a little bit up higher for that black. So I'm gonna add that here. And I think I need to do a little bit darker on this side too, on top of the eye. Okay. So I'm putting quite a bit of pressure right now, really working on those really dark areas. Trying to get that down because we need to have a nice contrast where we can. Don't be afraid to get quite a bit dark. You see really dark areas, make sure you put that down. And then we can do a little bit of a lighter pressure to kind of blend that in, sort of. So I'm just doing firm pressure going in the direction of the hair growth, picking up the pencil every time I make a stroke. It doesn't have to go from the root, it doesn't have to go a certain direction. So like if you're going from the nose and you're going upwards, you don't have to go from nose up, nose up, nose up. You can go from up to nose, if that makes any sense. Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense. So you can go from down to up and up to down. Doesn't matter which direction, left to right or right to left. As long as you're following the curvature of the fur or hair, and then you should be fine. And the direction should be good. Just slowly building it up. I'm going to look at the photo as a whole and see what I need to do to darken up some areas where it needs to be darker, where it needs to be preserved for lighter areas. Just can take a quick look. So I see it's kind of got a darker patch underneath the eyes. So I'm going to take the gray and just kind of build that up a little bit more. So light pressure and circular motions. Just to kind of get that spot just a little bit darker. It's a lot of just looking back and forth between your references and your drawing, whether that be directly from the app or looking at a printed or digital copy of your reference. I recommend having more than one way to see your reference so that you can really see all the little details. Need to build this section up a little bit more with some gray. So again, I'm doing light pressure and circular motions because I'm kind of working on a bigger space that doesn't really necessarily have a lot of detail in it with that particular color. So like the whole area is gray or darker. So I'm going to do very soft circular motions to fill in the entire area with the lighter gray and then go over it again with the detail with a darker gray. We're getting really close to getting this side done. I feel like I need to build up a little bit of brown in some areas too, so I'm going to do that. Again, like circular motions and light pressure, just slowly building it up. I'm going to go in with the gray, get a few details over top of all of that. Picking up the pencil every time I make the stroke. Make a stroke. No zigzagging. We do not want zigzagging because it doesn't look good when you zigzag. It doesn't look realistic. You gotta take your time and do them individually. You don't have to do like, oh, I gotta put this one here and then this one here, and to be very slow. You can be quicker. You can be quicker and not as accurate, especially with the areas that are not like huge, obvious patterns. If it's just a texture, you can just be a little bit more hectic with it. I think that looks pretty good. We can start blending it. Well, actually, I think I might add a bit of, like, put a little bit more of this cream colored pencil in just some areas. Okay, we're gonna take a colorless pencil to kind of soften it up and also fill in those white gaps. And I'm going in the direction of the fur. This way we keep the texture. We just fill it in a little bit more. That's all we're doing. And softening it up. We're not putting a whole bunch of pressure on the paper. We still should be able to build up more on it if needed. And also we don't want to gouge the paper. So that's why we're not putting a whole bunch of pressure on it. Just nice firm pressure. I'm just really trying to push in that pigment right into the paper and trying to get rid of all those little white dots from like the texture of the paper is what's creating these white little dots. Now we can go over it a little bit to add a few more details, a little bit more more sharp details if we want. And I want to go over again. I know I repeat myself a lot, but I just really want you to understand stuff. So you see how I can still go over that with some details. I can still make a few more hairs over top of it to make it, yeah. Okay, so blending techniques, colorless pencil, blending markers, using white or the brightest color in that area, using rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, or finding it, like doing some research on the type of pencil you have to get the right solution to blend with like a paintbrush. And every single one of them has their pros and their cons. So just so you're aware, just be aware. The colorless pencil, it does enough. It works really well with Prismacolor because that's where they got the pencil from. But if you use white, then it kind of softens up the colors. It's not so vivid. If you use the lightest color in that area for blending, then it keeps that vivid look to it. If you're using any solutions or alcohol, rubbing alcohol, then it's going to have more of like a marker or watercolor kind of look to it. Okay, so now we're going to the bottom part of the cheek. Turning off the strobe. Wait, no. Yeah, we're going to turn off this. No, we'll keep the strobe on. Go into, can we turn off playlists? Let's see if we can get a different angle. No. Okay, so now we're going to look for undertones of the fur. So like we're looking for our tans, our blues, our yellows, or whatever is not like the obvious color that you see right away. It's the ones that we see underneath that. So the biggest one I can kind of see right away is an undertone of blue. So we're going to do light pressure, circular motions, holding the pencil at the end so that we can kind of use the side of the pencil. This helps with a nice smooth texture. Also kind of helps with a blended look. The more you practice, the better you get. And we're just filling in the majority of that space with this color, so that's why we're not really focusing on texture at this moment. And there's another little patch of blue right here. And then we're going to go in, I see some tan, so we're going to add that tan. Where else do we see that tan color? I think up higher too, right in here. So we're doing very light layers. We're going to slowly build up. We slowly build up so that we have room for error and we can fix it as we go. Is there any other undertones that I can see? Not really. I think that's it. So now we can kind of go with like the obvious colors on top. So let me see. There is a bit of a brown, but the most that I see is kind of a gray. So we're going to start off with a gray for like the general area. So again, we're just using some soft pressure and circular motions, and we're just filling in that entire area pretty much with gray. Right where we see the gray, we're gonna fill it all up. Just to the point where it's the lightest version of, like the lightest details in the fur. And then we can add the darker parts of the fur as the details. And then, yeah, just looking at it as a whole. So again, soft pressure and circular motions, just filling it into the shade of the lightest color we see in that area. And then again, we're going to build it up, the details with the darker colors. So that's why we're doing soft pressure and circular motions and not really working about texture right now. Not focus too much on texture. This cat looks like he's seeing some random stuff. So we're going to turn off the strobe, and then we're going to turn down the opacity until we can just barely see the tip of the pencil. I'm going to start off with the brown to help with the placement, and then I can add more for shading. So just light pressure, and now we're kind of doing individual small strokes of hair, picking up the pencil every time we place it down and create the stroke. And now I'm drawing on the wrong piece of paper. The reference that I printed off got in the way. And you'll start seeing those whiskers pop up from when we indented the paper from a previous live video. Now I'm going to go in with the gray. Just make sure you're doing individual strokes, picking up the pencil every time you make the line. You do not want to zigzag. Zigzagging does not look good. Now I'm going in with the black. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it right now. I'm just trying to get the placements of these little details of the fur. We're going to turn on the strobe here soon so we can really work on getting the right shade and color and texture. So we're going to turn on the strobe, turn up the opacity to the fullest. This way we can see the differences between our drawing and the reference photo and make changes as we need to. So I'm going to start off with the brown. And I see that the majority of this section right here is brown. So I'm going to do circular motions, light pressure, holding the pencil at the end. This way I can kind of use the side of the pencil, and light pressure. We're going to slowly build it up. This is like the general area. This is not really the details. We can add a little bit more details with some darker colors later. But that's why I'm doing circular motions, is because it's not quite detailed. It's just the general shading of the cat. We don't have to get every single little detail perfectly. The only things that I really would recommend focusing on is the major print. So like the big line that goes from the corner of the eye down, and like the print that's above the head. But all the little pieces that are just, why isn't this working? All the little, like the bigger sections that are very obvious for like prints and stuff. So why is this not working? This is driving me crazy. Okay, what if I just turn off that? Can I just switch over better? There we go. So like right here is an obvious thing. And here's an obvious thing. And then for like just the textured, we don't need to be exact for the textured stuff. Just slowly build it up. For like the softer fur, the one that's very blurred out, we can kind of do like smaller circular motions. Like still going in the direction of where the fur is going. Really focusing on the curves of the fur and the direction. I need water. You know, I'm going to go in with the gray, and we're going to slowly build up, getting darker and darker as we go, and kind of doing more texture at this point too. Just building up that texture. And I think I need to make most of this quite a bit darker too. So I'm going to go over it with the circular motions, light pressure, just to darken up this area. My nose is running for some reason. I'm also just going to build some texture in that area that I just did the circular motions to kind of get the general area kind of darker. I'm just going to create some texture by going over it. Remember, for every stroke, make sure you pick up the pencil every time. We're doing nice and small strokes because its fur is not super long. Even so, you could do this with hair too. It will look perfectly fine doing smaller strokes. And then we're going to build dark sections. So I need to add a little bit more to the corner of the eye. Right here. Okay, let's take a look at it as a whole, see if there's anything that needs to be changed. I'm going to need to add a little bit more texture right here. Just kind of break up this line a little bit. Taking the colorless pencil now. Just going back and forth across these, across the face, going in the direction of the fur. We don't want to lose a lot of texture while doing this. That's why we're going in the direction of the fur, but we really want to push in that color right into the paper. Don't press it so hard that it gouges the paper, but do nice firm pressure for this. You can kind of see it just automatically darkens it up. And then we could always go over it again for some more finer details, more texture. But we're really trying to fill in that space. I'm looking at it and I'm starting to see some highlights that I totally went over that I wish I didn't go over. There are a couple of ways you can bring those highlights back. One is going over with a white pencil. Some of the pencil sets, the white works better than others for layering. You can take an X-Acto knife and kind of scrape out some of the highlights, but that's only really good if it's like very sharp edges. Or you can take a electric eraser, which may or may not work for, like, it will work for all pencils, but it depends on the type of pencil and how well it does work. According to the pencils that I'm using, the electric eraser actually works pretty good. So I'm going to first clean the eraser. I'm just rubbing it up against my clipboard here so I can clean it off a bit. And then we're just kind of do the same thing where we're just picking up the pencil for every stroke. And you might need to clean it every so often, just so that we can get nice, cleaner sections. It's very faint, but it does work. And I don't need it to be super bright. Just need it to be brighter. I'm going to do the same to the other side of the face, because there's a few areas that need to be brighter too. I didn't do a whole bunch, but it did do enough, I think. I'm just curious on how well this white pencil will pop up. Again, it's very faint, but it also depends on, again, it depends on the kind of pencil you get. Like this one, this particular set isn't really good for putting white over top of anything. But it is good for details, like the set itself are really good for fine details. Great for blending. The white color, the white pencil is great for blending with this set. But I'm not using that as a method for my artwork. Now we're working on the chinny chin chin. Okay. Doing the undertones of the fur, doing light pressure and circular motions for the general area. So we can just fill this in, but do little bits at a time. We want to be able to still work with it, and if we put too much on right away, we won't be able to work with it. Okay, a little bit of tan. We already got this color down pretty good. Light pressure and circular motions. Holding the pencil at the end, this way I can kind of use the side of the pencil more than the tip of the pencil, which helps with preventing any pencil marks. It helps with a nice smooth texture. It's more important for like doing skin texture than it is for pets, because there is quite a bit of texture for the pets anyways. So if you're not going to if you're not going for a smooth texture underneath, even though it works out just as fine, just go with the direction of the fur and make sure you pick up the pencil every single time. But I kind of want to fill in the all of that area with the undertones, the brightest areas, and then build upon it with the texture later. What else do I see? Oh, I need to go back to bed. Now I'm actually starting to see very warm tones that are even more vibrant than that yellow I've been using. It's actually like an orange brown for the undertone of this. So I'm gonna do light pressure and circular motions. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful with the placement here because there's still some sections within this that are still quite a bit brighter than the rest. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with some brown. I'm kind of focusing on the texture. I want to say not really texture, but more of the structure of the fur, if that makes any sense. So if we zoom in here and just turn it off for a second, turn off the strobe, you can kind of see there's not really a ton of like individual strokes, like individual hairs. It's kind of just like clumped into different clumps. So that kind of has more of like, I want to call it more structure. Let me see, who is this? Are those Prismacolor pencils? No, these are Faber-Castell Polychromos. They are two very different types of pencils. Each have their pros and cons. And I can quickly go over some of those for you so you can make a decision if you want. So Prismacolors, they're more vivid and they're easier to blend. Kind of, if you have the right technique, you can kind of make it look more like a pastel painting when you're done. But the thing is, the colors will fade quicker than the Polychromos. It is wax based, so it's really smooth, but it also wears out quicker. So you have to keep on sharpening your pencil over and over again, and it won't really do super fine details. Polychromos, they are oil-based. They are a harder pencil. You can do really fine details with them, like fur, hair. The colors will last longer. And yeah, I think that's about it. A lot of artists use both Prismacolor and Polychromos from Faber-Castell. But that is just telling you the most. And I kind of honestly like the polychromos a bit better because I do like the ability to get the super fine details. And then also you can just learn the skills on how to get like a really good blended technique with them, which is a lot like adding a bunch of layers, little bit at a time to do a nice smooth texture. But I like how they last longer than Prismacolors. But if you are just starting out with working with colored pencils, I recommend just getting a very affordable set, even if that means it's Crayola. Get used to colors and how to mix them. Practice your techniques of how to create a blended look. And then when you get to the point where you want to be at a more of a professional grade, doing things for like commissions and stuff, then I recommend going into buying a good quality pencil. Now I'm going to tell you, quality does not necessarily mean expensive. So do some research on what pencils that you think might be good. There's more than just Prismacolor and Faber-Castell pencils out there too. Another thing that I recommend when you're looking at buying colored pencils for your artwork, I recommend that you find a brand that will sell the pencils separately. This way you don't have to keep on buying the same pencil set and having a whole bunch of one color that you hardly use. If you see in my background here, I have backup pencils that I've all bought separately, and as I run out of them, I reorder them, just make sure I have some to go. But yeah, that's just something to think about. So I'm really building up the structure of the fur because the fur is kind of clumpy and there's a lot of shadows underneath it. So this is a little bit different than the rest of what we were doing earlier. Why is it going back to my face? Okay, now I'm gonna go over some of these areas with some gray. There's some that I'm going to leave alone because it is brown, not gray. I'm not being 100% accurate with this stuff, but I am strongly using the reference photo as a guide. Okay, let me see these comments here. How do you know which color to use for each part? Have you seen the Have you seen the channel Drawholic? No, I haven't seen the channel Drawholic. But, okay, so your first question. There are many different ways to pick out colors, and I'm going to tell you all the different ways that I found out or have used myself. First is there's an app that's called Colored Pencil Picker. So what it does is you upload the image, you either choose a pencil set that you have or create your own pencil set, and then when you click on an image on the section that you're trying to color in, it will show you the color, what colors to use to mix that color, and how many layers to use. It's not 100%, but it at least will get you to the point where you can start seeing the undertones, which is really good for photorealistic stuff. Another way to do it is get a digital copy, put it on a drawing app or a photo editing app, and get that little color picker. Just go into the section that you're going into and pick that color, and then also for that, make yourself a color chart, like swatches of your pencils. I recommend going from light, like dark to light, so that you can see the variety of the shades that you get from that color. I didn't do that, and I should have done that. And then put your number and name of the pencil with each color. And so when you're looking at your tablet or whatever you have the reference on, you can just pick closest to what you have, and then also just add on to that kind of mix from what you kind of see, the colors that are missing or whatever. And that takes some practice to see the undertones, but if you only just do the basic colors, that will work too for beginners. Or what I'm doing is I'm comparing it to my printed copy of the reference photo to my swatches. Now, after I've done quite a bit, I collect the pencils that I'm using. So I kind of just look at my reference, whether it be here on my printed copy or the Vinci Eye App, and then I just choose the colors that I've already picked out, so it's kind of more of a cohesive look to it. If I do notice that there are some other colors that pop up, then I might grab another one, but it and then also just so you know, no matter which method you choose, there are going to be slight differences in the coloring of your reference. So different printers will be different colors, different tablets, the screens will be different colors. The colored pencil picker is not perfect. So don't focus too much on the exact color. Kind of just don't stress out for trying to find the exact color, because nobody's going to really know that much. If that makes any sense to you, I don't know. Like, I printed this off on even different paper, and one of them was like a really orange color, and then this one is more true to the photograph. But so I kind of actually use the app more for the shade, getting the right shade down, and then I use the printed copy for the right color and the app for placement. And we're slowly building up. And I'm not worried about getting every single section exactly the color that I see it in the reference, because that's just a little too much. It really is. And then it doesn't look like it's part of the same animal if you do that. You get like one random red spot here and then a random real blue spot there. Just the general idea. And I'm going to go in with the black just to darken up those really dark areas. And this is still very soft. There's not very like sharp edges to any of this, so we can kind of do like really small circular motions. Okay, so that's it for today, but I'm going to quickly go over a few things. So if you want to try the app for free for a year, there is a promo code in the description for iOS, and Android is currently free. There are a few ads for certain features, but it's a good opportunity to try the app and see if you even like the app before you buy it. I recommend buying it sooner than later, so that way if prices go up, you'll be grandfathered to the price that you originally paid for it. Join the Facebook group. I do yearly challenges and competitions for cash prizes. Also, there is a good place to kind of interact with other artists that use the app, and also get a few ideas of like how you're going to set up your app that works best for you, or get a little bit of advice for certain things. And then if for the future, if you want to draw along with me from beginning to end, I do post the reference photos in the Vinci Eye App Facebook group and my personal Facebook page under Charity Loves Art. Both are under the featured posts. Or if you go into the Vinci Eye App, the main page, you'll see three purple lines. You click on that, and then there's a magnifying glass. You press that, type in Charity Loves Art, go to my profile, go to the little light bulb icon, and then scroll down until you see the reference photo. So there's that way too. If you want me to draw something in particular, like a family member, a pet portrait, send them to me through my email. It's in the description. I will draw it and I will send it to my copy to you, the drawing, for free, no shipping costs, no nothing. If you have requests for future videos, like different mediums, as much as I love pencil work and graphite, I could also do wood burning, fabric painting, stained glass painting, quilling, soft pastel, pen, and watercolor, acrylics, like pretty much anything. Even if I haven't tried it before, I will go out of my way, learn the basics to teach you what I think works best for beginners. And then you can also tell me to do different subjects or focus on certain things. So like if you want to do a still life, that's fine. I'm more than happy to do that. Or focusing on just getting the hair textures for eyes, ears, so on and so forth. Or if you want to challenge me and say, hey, something to the lines of, you need to do a photorealistic drawing with just the primary colors with Crayola, like challenge me, and I'm more than happy to do videos like that for you too. Yeah. I think that's it. So thank you so much for the support, and I will see you in the next video. See you next week, every Friday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time. All these videos are going to be posted on the YouTube after the fact.